Welcome to Creatively Optimized, the podcast for service businesses ready to shine online. I'm Jenny Belanger, the founder of Jenny B Designs, a web design studio that builds strategic and beautiful websites that are designed to book you ideal clients and make you money. With over 10 years of growing my own design business, I'm here to share tips to creatively optimize your business. Get ready to learn web design strategies for high-converting websites, digital marketing tactics to reach ideal customers, and systems to simplify operations. If you're ready to blend creativity and strategy, you're in the right place. Join me on this journey to creatively optimize your unique business. Let's do this. Do you ever wish you had more time in the day to get things done? More organization to juggle clients and projects? Or maybe more insight into how your website is performing? Well, today I have the tools for you, friend. Welcome to Creatively Optimized, the show that provides web design, marketing, and system tips to help you optimize and grow your online business. We're currently in the month of February, and in that vein, I'm kind of excited to be chatting about all things love for the next few episodes. Today, I'm sharing the apps and tools I love and can't live without as I run my website design business. They run the gamut from client management to content creation to everything in between. And all of these tools help me optimize and automate so I can do more of what I love, designing websites. And speaking of love and sharing kindness, I wanted to take a minute to thank you for listening to this podcast. I really, truly appreciate your support. It's such an honor to be able to show up and serve you like this. And I thought I would take a minute to read a recent review and shout out one of my listeners. This one is from Suzanne Caddy, and she says, Jenny packs a lot of great advice and useful information in her episodes. A great listen for entrepreneurs. Can't wait to hear more. Thank you, Suzanne. I really appreciate you taking the time to leave me a review and share your thoughts of the podcast. So let's get down to business and jump right into tool number one. Number one, my top tool and my favorite is Notion. I can't talk about my favorite tools without mentioning this. Notion is kind of like an incredible all-in-one workspace that really helps me organize pretty much everything in my life, from web design projects to my goals, my dreams, my hopes, and to my personal life, like my family and my kids and everything that they've got going on. It's kind of like a customizable database meets project manager meets note taker meets AI, because they now have AI built in. It's so cool. You can build task lists, calendars, Kanban boards, so much to manage your work and productivity. And it helps me juggle multiple client projects while also keeping track of all my personal to-do items. One of my favorite things about Notion is its databases. So you can create a database to house anything, such as, website content calendars, my podcast ideas, client contacts, invoice tracking, anything that you want. And every single database is completely customizable, so it displays the properties that you want to see. And you can connect and link databases together, which is so, so important. When I work with my team members, I invite them into my Notion, and I'm able to share with them the tasks that I have for each website design project. Notion helps me keep everything on track, and it's so important. I use it daily. My favorite part of Notion is that you can make it pretty. So here's the kicker. I'm a big fan of productivity and task management apps, and I have tried everything from under the sun. I used Asana way back when, and it works. Asana works really well. And then there was a whole ClickUp phase where everyone was so excited about ClickUp, and I transitioned over to there. And I did enjoy ClickUp. There was a lot of power in there, but both of those two systems, I couldn't make anything look how I wanted it to look. The aesthetics really matter to me, and if I'm going to be in something every day, it needs to make me feel happy, and that's where Notion comes in. I have the ability to personalize all my boards, all my pages with Notion using emojis and colors and fonts and things like that. And so it's almost like I get to design an art project, but also have my other side of my brain organize and structure all of my tasks in one place. I really love Notion, and anything that I do, I think of what can I create in Notion to help me make this task a little bit easier. If anyone out there is interested in Notion or how I use it, definitely send me a DM on Instagram or shoot me a message on LinkedIn. And I'd love to make some more episodes on how I use Notion and how you too can use it in your business. But what I'm saying is that I guess my top apps that I use and love daily is Notion, and it is free to start. I believe that it's the free personal plan, and then you can upgrade. I think it's $4 per month to the pro plan, which has a little bit more storage and permissions and security. And as well, as I mentioned, they have their own AI in there also, and it's becoming one of my favorite things to use. So Notion is something that I recommend to everyone out there. Tool number 2 that I use and love, HoneyBook. If you're running any kind of service business, I find HoneyBook to be an invaluable tool for managing your operations. As a website designer, I rely on HoneyBook to organize my contracts, invoices, payments, proposals, clients, and scheduling. I do all of that in HoneyBook. It's kind of like an all-in-one business management software, and it actually was built specifically for creatives. They started in the wedding industry, and there are a lot of designers and photographers and consultants on there. But it really has everything that you need to run your projects seamlessly in one centralized automated platform. For me, what I do is I have a proposal set up in there with the different types of items that someone might be interested in. So after I have a consultation call, I go into HoneyBook and I customize the proposal and I send it to my potential client. And they have the ability to go through the proposal, select the products that they would like to purchase, if they want branding and website design, if they want to add copy to their projects, things like that. They can select what they want, and then once they submit that, they are automatically taken to a contract and an invoice. And I have the payments all set up through there. It's seamless, it happens behind the scenes, it's automated, and I don't have to do anything. And it saves me so much time. I also love HoneyBook for managing my pipeline. What I do is I actually use HoneyBook Scheduler. And if someone is interested in booking a consultation call with me, they fill out a form. They're immediately taken to my scheduler in HoneyBook, and then they're added to my pipeline in HoneyBook so that I can see them where they are in the process. If we are having the consultation call, if we've already had the call and they've received the proposal, if they've said yes to the proposal and have paid the invoice and sign the contract, things like that. It just has such a easy ability to view your pipeline and keep track of your clients. One thing I will mention is that I find that there are 2 that are really popular with a lot of creatives, Dubsado and HoneyBook. And I will tell you, I tried Dubsado and it didn't make me happy. I wasn't able to feel comfortable in it, and it didn't look as pretty as HoneyBooks does. And if you're picking up on anything from what I just said, both Notion and HoneyBook to me provide a more aesthetic and pleasing experience, and that really makes a difference if I'm going to stick with something or not. That's why I chose HoneyBook, and I really love them and find that I wouldn't be able to run my business without it. The next tool is actually 2 in 1. It's Airtable and Zapier. And I'm going to share with you how I use Airtable and Zapier for AI content repurposing. Airtable, if you're not familiar with it, is a database that makes it easy to house and organize all kinds of information. It is similar to Notion, the database portion of it, but Airtable is, in fact, just a database itself. And I use that to organize all of my content. The reason why I use Airtable over Notion is that Notion is a little bit trickier to automate with Zapier. And what I'm talking about here is the automation between the Airtable and Zaps. Right now, I connect my Airtable to Zapier with various AI writing tools. I think I'm using the OpenAI for ChatGPT. And I'm using triggers and actions. So let me talk you through what happens. I have a database set up in Airtable that I outline all of my podcast scripts and I organize it by content pillars, and I come up with the description of the podcast episode and any links I'd like to share and have my notes there. Then once I record my podcast episode, like I'm doing right now, I record into Script. And Descript allows you to get a written transcript of what I shared, of what I recorded. I grab that transcript and I pop it into a cell in my Airtable. Once I do that and I change the trigger to repurpose content, I have that set up. What happens is that Zapier will start a long process zap. And what it is doing is sending the actual transcript of this podcast episode to the chat GPT through the AI. And I have certain prompts set up to repurpose it for all of my different platforms. By platforms, I mean Instagram, LinkedIn, blog posts, and sometimes some one-sentence one-liners that I have done as well. This is all going on behind the scenes. What it looks like on my end is I pop in the transcript into a cell, I label it as ready to repurpose, I give it a couple of minutes, and then voila, there are a bunch of cells that repopulate with the outline of what I'm going to share about on these social media platforms. And then from there, it's just me going in and making it sound a little bit more like me, because while I love AI, it's not something that we can just pop in some prompts and take what they say word for word. I definitely use it as a starting point and then put in my own flair and put my own voice to it. But this has cut down on my content creation process by so much. And I just love integrating tools and automation that can cut down on your workflow and save you tons of time. So I love Airtable and Zapier, two tools working together, as my number 3 recommendation. Number 4 is my beloved Google Calendar. This is for productivity and time management. As an entrepreneur and creative, having strong time blocking skills is so important so you don't get overwhelmed. For me, I'm actually a creative, but I also really love the processes. So I crave structure. I use Google Calendar for everything, to schedule my client calls, which is done in Honeybook, but talks to my Google Calendar, my meetings. I block out chunks of time when I'm designing, when I have home pages and full website designs, when I'm creating my content. I have a week of every month that I block out to create my content. When I am doing an admin day, anything, I have it all color-coded and time-blocked in my Google Calendar. And what I've been doing is using my entire workday as one color so that when I look at the calendar, I know the hours that I plan to work for that day. And within that day, then I have the blocks of the things that I'm going to be working on, be it designing or admin or networking calls, things like that. But I would not be able to live without my Google Calendar. So that definitely is on my list for tools that I love. Number 5 is called Pretty Links. If you have a WordPress website, I suggest that you grab this plugin. It is free. And what it does is it just makes custom URLs instead of having those ugly affiliate links or anything else that you want to share, such as the tiny URLs or the bit.ly URLs. Instead of sending people these long, weird links, you can format them neatly. For example, for me, I have my privacy policy. I always recommend that people check out Termageddon. I think it's super easy for you to grab a privacy policy that automatically updates with the law without you having to do a single thing for a subscription every year. What I've done for my affiliate link is instead of sending them a long, URL that it's Termageddon/UTM and all these other things, what I've done is I have a URL that says jennybdesigns.com/Termageddon. And that forwards to the affiliate link that I sent people to so that they can get the best price when I recommend them to Termageddon. It's called Pretty Links. It's a plugin and it's free. And if you have WordPress, this is such a great solution to a lot of those problems of remembering URLs and things like that. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely do so. I'm going to link it down below as well. And then finally, this one's a new one, and I've been playing with it, and I am really loving it. It's called Link Whisper. What this is if you have WordPress, it's a plugin as well, and proper internal link structures are important for your website. What that means is that on any page of your website, you should be linking to another page on your website, internal linking. so that your audience is staying on your website longer. And manually adding them onto your website as your website grows larger and larger can sometimes get time intensive. What this little plugin does is it scans the content and your architecture on your website to identify those pages on your website that don't have any links. Or if you're creating a blog post, it will scan your website to give you smart recommendations on which links you could add to that blog post to have more internal links. It's automation, and it saves you a bunch of time from hunting down appropriate pages to connect to. And it's free for the trial version. And if you want to pay a little bit more, it can do a few more things for you. But it's a really cool tool that can definitely help if you are working on your search engine optimization as part of one of your goals for 2024. And there you go. That wraps up my 6 apps and tools that I'm absolutely loving. I'll do a little recap here. The first one is Notion. I organize everything there. I love it, love it, love it. I'm going to link it below. The second one is HoneyBook. This is how I run everything, like my contracts and proposals. The definitely must have if you're sending, like I said, contracts and proposals, and you are sending invoices as well. The third one is a fun one, is Airtable and Zapier, so that I do my content repurposing. Number 4, Google Calendar. I find that most people can't live without this one. It's a great one. Number 5, Pretty Links, to make those long URLs a little bit prettier. I feel like I've talked a lot about pretty things today, and I guess, I'm saying a lot. I'm a website designer. I really enjoy a pretty looking site, and I guess I like my tools to be pretty as well. And then number 6 is Link Whisper, and this one is just to help you with your internal linking. And there you go. That wraps up another episode of Creatively Optimized. I hope you found today's show helpful and actionable. If you have any questions about what I shared, I would love to hear from you. You can reach out to me on Instagram at @JennyBDesigns or send me a message on LinkedIn. I would love to hear what you're thinking about the show. I'll link both of those below. And as always, thank you so much for joining me today. Your support means so much. If you've enjoyed this episode, I would love if you could take a minute and leave a rating and review. It would really help the show reach more online business owners like you. Until next time, when we talk about another thing in this month of February, with my love topic, I will talk to you then. Thanks so much for listening to this podcast all the way to the end. I really appreciate you being here. Please make sure to subscribe to the podcast, rate, review, and share it with someone else you know it can help. If you like this episode, then I want to invite you to visit jennybdesigns.com, where you'll find videos and resources to help make your current website work even harder for you. And if you're feeling like your current website doesn't truly reflect you or your brand today, it's not attracting your ideal clients or making sales, or maybe you just feel embarrassed by it and it's holding your business back, then reach out. I'd love to help you design a website that truly reflects you, works for you 24/7, bringing in those ideal clients and making you money. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time for another new episode.